Last time, we covered the many different roller coasters coming to the United States next year. However, it isn't the only country getting a bunch of new rides. Across the Atlantic, several European theme parks are about to receive a plethora of new roller coasters. So what rides are coming to Europe next year? Let's find out. First up in Belgium is Exotic Racers, an all-new family coaster coming to Walibi, Belgium. This will be a Gerstlauer bobsled coaster with a tropical Polynesian theme. For those of you who don't know, Gerstlauer's bobsled model is essentially a souped-up version of a wild mouse. The manufacturer describes its sharp turns, banking turns, and exhilarating drops as combining the feel and fun of a wild mouse coaster with the added thrill of a freeform coaster. Even if you aren't fond of wild mouse coasters, this model certainly does put a new twist on it. It is also one of 3 coasters the park will be adding in the next few years, eventually leading up to a massive mega coaster in 2021. Over in Denmark, we have Flyvende 1, an all-new coaster coming to the one and only Legoland Billund. This will be a custom Zero Force model themed to a flying eagle, which is what Flyvende 1 translates to in English. This family coaster will feature heavily themed woodland scenery throughout its layout, and a charming Lego eagle train. It looks to be another impressive attraction for all ages, and it's a great way to celebrate the park's 50th anniversary. It's sure to win over Lego enthusiasts just as much as young coaster enthusiasts in the making. Meanwhile, at Djurs Summerland, a new kiddie coaster named Jungle Rally will open to the public. Just 1 year after their Intamin Invert Draalkong, this coaster will appeal more to the little ones. It'll be a Zero Force Zero model, which you may recognize as Shamu Express from SeaWorld San Antonio. In addition to this coaster, the park will also receive a Zamperla Crazy Bus. Families with young children are sure to be delighted at both of the new rides the park has to offer. Heading down to France, we have Bobsleigh at Parc de la Vallée, also known as Valley Park in English. This is a relocated Schwarzkopf Jet 400 that formerly operated another French park called Nigloland, and before that, it operated at the UK's Drayton Manor. Right now, the only other coasters at the park are a Togo Kiddie Shuttle and a Wacky Worm, so a coaster like this is actually going to be a pretty big addition for this park. It's always nice to see a smaller park getting a fairly big attraction. Over at Jardin d'Acclimatation, another Gerstlauer bobsled named La Turbine d'Avion will open to parkgoers. This is part of the small Parisian theme park's reported expansion plan to bring in older parkgoers. While it isn't the most intense coaster model out there, it does look to be more thrilling than the park's other coasters. And it could very well be the kind of coaster that Jardin d'Acclimatation needs. And we have 3 more coasters coming to a brand new theme park named Parc Spirou. This theme park will feature a variety of attractions themed to various characters from the Franco-Belgian comic magazine Spirou. So in many ways, it's like if Toon Lagoon at Universal's Islands of Adventure was its own park. Parc Spirou will feature a total of 3 opening day roller coasters, all of which are manufactured by Zero. First up, we have a Zero Force 2 named Mine d'Or de Dalton. This model can also be found at Sweden's Liseberg and Denmark's Djurs Summerland. This particular coaster will be themed to the Dalton brothers, a quartet of villains from the Belgian comic series Lucky Luke. Not much else is known about this coaster, so moving on. Without a doubt, the most intense attraction that will open at the park is a tower speed coaster named Nid du Marsupilami. It will be an exact clone of Impulse at Knoebels, but it will be themed to the famous Belgian comic character Marsupilami and have a different color scheme. It will feature a 90-degree vertical drop and 4 inversions. I actually got to ride Impulse a couple of months ago, and I found it to be an incredibly smooth and very enjoyable roller coaster. There's no doubt it will be an excellent fit at this park. The third and final coaster opening at this park is a Zero ESC 535 named Racing Gallery. This moderate thrill coaster can also be found at Germany's Schwabenpark as Force 1, a coaster that puts a heavy emphasis on its bank turns and drops. Judging by its name, it will likely have the same Formula 1 race car trains that Force 1 has. It will be perfect for kids who have outgrown the smaller coasters and are just getting into the bigger attractions. And overall, Parc Spirou looks to be an excellent draw for families and European coaster enthusiasts. Next up at Parc St. Paul, we have Wood Express, an all-new Gravity Group wooden coaster. This will be the second Gravity Group Woody confirmed to open next year, with the other one being Oscar's Wacky Taxi at Sesame Place. While it's far from the tallest or fastest wooden coaster out there, its POV has proven to be very promising. Its layout looks to be jam-packed with all of the ejector airtime Gravity Group is known for, and it's an excellent addition for the small family park. Much like most of Gravity Group's wooden coasters, it's sure to put this small park on the map. Heading over to Les Pales, a new Intamin family launch coaster named Yukon Quad will premiere as well. This coaster will feature the same trains as Juvelin at Denmark's Djurs Summerland, only this time it will have white track to be themed to the northwestern Canadian tundra. It will feature 2 tire-propelled launches, and according to construction photos, it's going to be a nice long ride. Moreover, it's sure to have some excellent tundra theming, and the sensation of holding onto the handlebars while flying through the course is sure to appeal to all sorts of riders. It may be the closest some passengers will get to driving an actual ATV through an actual tundra. Moving on, the last coaster confirmed to be going to France next year is an unnamed Schwarzkopf Jetstar at Babyland Amiland. This coaster was formerly a part of the French funfair circuit and named the Jet. Once it's relocated to this very small amusement park, it'll be one of only 4 permanently installed Jetstar 1 models operating in the world. So if you live near this park, now's your chance to get a rare credit. The next country we're going to be talking about is Germany. Making its return to Freizeitpark Geiselwind is Cobra, an Interpark Wildwind. After a brief run in 2015, this coaster was sent into the German traveling fair circuit. However, after 3 years, it's set to make a return to the park in 2018. The Interpark Wildwind is a compact looping coaster model known for being especially forceful. So forceful, in fact, that Rye New York's Playland Park canceled the opening of one due to its over-intensity. Again, some may not consider this to be a new coaster, especially since it previously operated at the park, but the fact that it was once gone does make it a new addition nonetheless. Next up is a reinvention of one of the most iconic attractions at Germany's Europa Park, Eurostat Can-Can Coaster. After the closure of the original Eurostat last month, this new version is actually more than just a retracking. Unlike the Incredible Hulk at Universal Orlando, this retracking will feature a slightly different layout and an all-new French Moulin Rouge theme. Moulin Rouge, of course, is a historic French cabaret where the original Can-Can dance was invented. This may seem like an odd choice of theming for a roller coaster, but it does keep in with Europa Park's spirit of honoring different European countries. Meanwhile, Karlsruhe Liebnisdorf is receiving an ABC Rides tube coaster named K2. This lesser-known amusement park is known for starting off as a berry farm and jam factory. It has since evolved into a specialty food market as well as a family amusement center with plenty of attractions for the kids. K2 will be the park's first roller coaster and will be themed to potato chip production. It will feature plenty of agricultural theming and will be the first step in making this park a full-fledged resort. Another ABC Rides tube coaster coming to the country is Reise durch das Mittelalter at Ferienzentrum Schloss Duncan. Talk about a tongue twister. The name of this coaster, by the way, means a journey through the Middle Ages in English. This ride will feature elaborate medieval theming, and the train will pass through several large wooden structures. It will take guests all the way back to the Middle Ages, as its name suggests. Construction is already underway, and it looks to be a pretty exciting family coaster, so we can certainly expect to see this ride testing soon. Moreover, another family coaster will be heading to Holiday Park in Haschloch. This currently unnamed family coaster will be a Zero Force 2 that will be built inside an all-new indoor-themed land. This new section of the park will be based on the Swiss children's book character Heidi, a young orphan girl in the Alps who lives with her grandfather. The new land will also feature 2 carousels and several other attractions for all ages. It will especially be convenient for guests who are looking for something to do on a rainy day. Finally, for Germany, a new vegan Hexenbessen will be going to Rudelmecke Pottenstein. Not to be confused with Hexenbessen at Seilbahn and Thaler Liebnisfeld, this Hexenbessen is an updated version of that prototype model. Instead of one person lying down face first in a metal cylindrical tube, 2 passengers are seated in a swinging suspended ride vehicle. The name of this model still means Witch's Broomstick, but the exact theming of this ride is currently unknown. Track is already going up for this coaster though, so it won't be long before it takes flight. Down in Italy, 2 more coasters will open, the first of which being an EOS spinning coaster at Lunar Park. This Roman theme park was recently reopened last year after initially shutting down in 2008. With only a wacky worm in the park's coaster lineup, this unnamed spinning coaster will certainly be a welcome addition. Not much is known about this coaster except that it will feature spinning cars and will be manufactured by EOS Rides. Most likely it will be a standard EOS spinner, much like the one at Gulliver's Land in England. Moving on, the long-awaited Catapulta is scheduled to open next year at the Osteria ai Pioppi restaurant and amusement park. This locally popular restaurant near Venice features an amusement park with hand-built rides that don't need electricity to run. One coaster that's been in development for a while is Catapulta, a coaster that uses a weight drop system to launch its train straight up a vertical section of track and back down. It's indeed a simple concept, but if you ever find yourself in Italy, this is a unique credit worth checking working out. Meanwhile, the country of Macedonia will receive its first ever roller coaster in history. This will be going to the newly refurbished Luna Park in the country's capital city. According to Macedonian documents, this park will be publicly funded after attempts to find a private investor failed. Most likely, the coaster itself won't be anything to write home about, and it will most likely be something as common as a wacky worm. However, this is a pretty big milestone for a country that has never received a roller coaster, and there may just be an all-new wave of Macedonian coaster enthusiasts. Heading over to the Netherlands, we have Family Dual Racer at the Wildland Zoo in Emmen. Each side will be a Vekoma family boomerang much like Accelerator at Drayton Manor, but it will feature 2 different tracks. That's right, the zoo is building 2 of these family boomerangs which will interact with each other throughout the ride experience. For those of you new to this concept, the family boomerang is a toned-down version of Vekoma's standard boomerang, replacing the inversions with several bank turns. Families are sure to be won over by this ride and will especially fancy the added entertainment value of being able to race each other. And who knows, the zoo may add more roller coasters in the future. Also opening in the Netherlands is Phoenix, a brand new B&M wing coaster going to Toverland. It will be one of 2 B&M coasters opening in Europe next year, and it looks to be an excellent fit for this smaller regional park. As the name suggests, this ride will be themed to the Phoenix, a mythical bird that is reborn from its ashes after it catches fire. It will sport a brilliant blue track and heavily themed ride vehicles. Its short but sweet layout will feature several elements including an Immelman, a zero-G roll, and a dive loop. Toverland is considered to be more of a regional park, but a massive addition like this is sure to put it on the map for parkgoers across the globe. Over in the city of Rotterdam, a new riverside amusement park will open with a newly relocated shuttle loop. This flywheel shuttle loop formerly operated in Japan at Toshimane from 1980 to 2008. Once it reopens in the Netherlands, it'll be one of only 8 shuttle loops still operating in the entire world. It's unknown whether or not this coaster will be refitted with an LIM launch like Psyche Underground at Walibi Belgium, but considering how expensive these old Schwarzkopf coasters are to get replacement parts for, it's very likely. And now we've come to Hyperion at Poland's Energylandia. This is perhaps the most anticipated new for 2018 coaster in all of Europe, and perhaps the entire world. After the park initially asked guests whether to build an Intamin or a Vekoma hypercoaster, the people have spoken, and the Intamin Mega Coaster is set to make a glorious comeback to Europe. It will be the tallest and fastest non-launch coaster in the whole continent, with only Red Force at Port Aventura beating its overall stats. While the layout has changed since it was first announced, you can never go wrong with an Intamin Mega Coaster. These models are known for their airtime, speed, and intensity, and this one looks to follow the same trends. But this isn't the only coaster opening at the park next year. Energylandia will also be receiving a new Intamin water coaster named Speed. This coaster was originally set to open this year, but delays in the testing phase ended up postponing it to 2018. This massive water coaster model uses an elevator lift to take guests to the top of a rather intimidating looking tower. Guests are then sent plunging down a massive flume into a splashdown section. However, the ride doesn't end there, as the train's momentum will carry it through a twister section before hitting a second splashdown and ending the ride. This model can also be found at Italy's Mirabilandia, with 2 more being found in Asia. While the initial delay was unfortunate, it's pretty awesome that this park is opening 2 massive new coasters in 1 year. Guests can cool off after a day in the hot Polish sun and dry off on Hyperion. Sounds like an excellent summer day to me. Moving on, there's one more coaster opening in Poland next year. Over at Majeland Kovnaty, another Zero Force 2 named Vicky coaster is set to open. This ride will be themed to Vicky the Viking, a character from a Swedish children's book series. Coincidentally enough, the same coaster also exists at a Belgian indoor theme park named Plopsa Indoor Haslet. It will be the same model and will be themed to the same character. Meanwhile, in Göteborg, Sweden, a new dive coaster named Valkyria will be the newest attraction to come to Liseberg. It will be the second B&M coaster to open in Europe next year, and it will be the tallest and fastest dive coaster in the continent. It will be themed to the Valkyries from Norse mythology, which are winged spirits that carry fallen soldiers to the afterlife. It'll feature a stunning gold track and an intricately designed Nordic station. Whether you love dive coasters or not, you have to admit that this one really stands out for its theming alone. And considering the crowds that Valraven drew to Cedar Point, this coaster is guaranteed to be a massive draw for the park. And at last, we conclude with the United Kingdom, a country that will receive 2 new roller coasters next year, one of which being a new mock multi-launch named Icon, opening at England's historic Blackpool Pleasure Beach. This will be the first coaster to come to the park since Infusion, a Vekoma SLC which was relocated from Southport Pleasureland in 2007. Icon will feature 2 LSM launches and a great amount of airtime. While its stats may not seem like much on paper, the fact that it stays low to the ground is sure to add to its thrill factor. It'll be the biggest single investment for the park in quite some time, and it's sure to stir up some buzz when it opens. The second coaster coming to the country will be a new GCI Woody at Alton Towers. While the park hasn't officially announced the name yet, there's a very good chance that it will be Wicker Man. It will be the first GCI wooden coaster ever built in the United Kingdom, as well as the first wooden coaster to open at Alton Towers. It will also be the first original wooden coaster to come to the United Kingdom in 21 years. Hyped up as Secret Weapon 8, this ride will have a backwoods cult theme and will be built on the former site of their log flume. It is set to feature just as much ejector air and crazy bank turns as GCI's other coasters. Once British parkgoers get a taste of what the manufacturer's rides are like, they'll certainly be begging for more. Before I wrap things up, I'd like to announce the winner of last week's weekly poll. With 171 votes, the winner is Banshee at Kings Island. Second place went to Montu at Busch Gardens Tampa, and third went to Nemesis at Alton Towers. So thank you very much to everyone who voted. And for this week's weekly poll, I'd like to ask, what is your favorite B&M floorless coaster? I have every single operating floorless coaster listed here, so feel free to head on down to themeparkcrazy.com and cast your vote. Thanks for watching, everyone. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on social media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or you can check out my website at themeparkcrazy.com. This is Theme Park Crazy, and I'll see you all next time.